Made a bit of a pit stop at my house, come back, and we've now mounted the TomTom rider. I managed to mount it onto the thing here, so we've now got a sat-nav on the actual Ducati, which is a good thing because we know where we're going now. Right, okay then, are you ready? Yep. Yeah, another one. So now we have a 189 mile journey ahead of us. By the time we'd got back home from the first leg of the journey and then had a coffee for the second leg of the journey, we were now riding in peak traffic. And I was on a fast learning curve to the dangers of riding the Ducati in peak traffic. Eventually, A roads, B roads and dual carriageways became motorways, and this is where I was discovering that the Ducati really could come into its own on roads like this. We have done so far 176 miles. Now Alan's done a lot more than that. Let's just have a look. He has done, leave it on there then, 434 miles. The thing I'm finding at the moment, and we've had to have a bit of a break because I'm feeling a lot of pain in the legs. That's the first thing I'd say. It's starting to really, get to me now because my legs are sort of bent back. So I've had to stop for that. The other thing that I found is a problem, twice now has happened to me, is the bike slips out of gear. So I've been in 5th gear doing like 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, gone to go to 6th gear and it's just dropped into neutral. It's a really bizarre experience, and you're trying to get the gears and you can't get them. And then you have to sort of up and down. Eventually you get the gearbox, but it's not good. You've not experienced that on your Ducati, have you? No.
A couple of false neutrals, that's it really.
Yeah, so is that today?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alan's had a couple of false neutrals, but I'm getting no gears, as in nothing in 5th and 6th. It just drops out. It shows on the gear indicator that you're in 5th, but you realise there is no gear at all. Yours is a lot more easier for comfort, I would have thought. A fairly similar setup though. This would normally be a busy place, but just because of the situation with COVID-19, look what's happened to it. I mean, it's just completely overgrown. It's just basically almost derelict. Really shocking. Good. Okay. Easing around. I must admit that touring mode definitely makes it easier to ride. I don't quite know what it is it's doing. It just feels looser, if you know what I mean. Like, it feels like it's been run in. A bit strange, really. Gotta be careful here. we set off once again, we were now well and truly into the northeast, and I started to remember exactly why I'd chosen this area to ride my first major ride on the Ducati Supersport S. The roads were just spectacular. Once again, back on a short burst on the motorways, and the Ducati Supersport really did start to do what it does best. Eventually, it was time to peel off the motorway and start onto some classic A roads that Alan, living in that area, knew extremely well. Time then to give the bikes a good run. And I was about to discover a feature of Alan's Ducati Diavol that I didn't know existed: warp drive. Within a matter of seconds, Alan's Ducati Diavol had completely disappeared. Knees are shot, man. I'm too old for this shit. I'm gonna have to take it back, get my money back. Eventually, after several hours in the saddle, we finally arrived at Alan's house. Oh, we finally arrived. We're in Alan's garage, where he's got loads of bikes and lights. To realise what I've missed from biking. Aching back, my back is killing me, my knees are killing me, my ears are ringing due to the sheer noise, even though I've got earplugs. And I bought some really expensive earplugs and they don't work. They're not as good as the cheap ones. There's a bit of a tip. Well, it's been one hell of a thrilling ride. What time is it now, Al? What time is it?
8:45.
8:45. 8:45 at night.
So 12 hours I've been riding today.
Alan's done 12 hours. I don't know how many hours I've done on this. We can look it up in a minute, actually, because this thing's got a trip time on it. So we'll have a look, see how long we've been on the bike. Once I can get off the bike. I think being able to talk to each other was...
It was great,
a big difference.
Especially as your sat-nav's got speed cameras
on it.
Yeah,
so my sat-nav's got speed camera warning on it. So I was basically able to warn Alan, 500 yards or a mile ahead when the speed cameras were coming
up.
And
my sat-nav has nothing on it. So.
Yeah, the trip meter. Hold on. So trip time, here we go. 4 hours 26 minutes is the trip time. It's now almost 10 to 9. We have done 238.6 miles. We're going to have a look at Alan's in a minute and see what he's done. And
I've got 85-mile range left, so it is a bigger tank, I think.
It's a bigger tank than mine, yeah. So that is 494 miles in a day. That's awesome. That's just crazy. But how do you feel? How do you feel having done that?
Not as bad as I thought I would.
Is that the longest trip you've done on this?
On this, yeah.
On this bike, yeah.
My knees are sore. I had to keep hopping up onto the seat way back there. My knees are really sore, but my hands are fine. I've got a bit of ringing in my ears, like you said.
Yeah, I've got the ringing in the ears.
Whatever hair I've got left.
Yeah.
But I'm quite.
Other than that, you're all right. Yeah. Yeah. So this Ducati's. We'll go in and get a beer and see what we think. We'll come up with a few summaries of what we think of both these bikes, actually, because they're both awesome bikes. And and we'll come up with that. We'll go in and get changed, get out of this lot anyway.